it was amazing quality.
Yes, and Dana from Ash versus Evil Dead that my son wanted to meet, she was only $60, and let me tell about her for a minute. She was she's very, very interactive with the fans, like extremely. She has a very, like, the way that you see her on the show is actually the way she comes off in real life. She's very feisty, very fiery, very, like, everything that you can imagine.
Yeah.
But she's cool, though, you know?
Yeah.
And anybody that, like you just said, you know, you asked me, did you ask him any questions? No. Well, if you would have went up to meet Dana, you wouldn't have to conjure up any questions because she's going to start a conversation with you.
Right, right.
So she stood there for about, I don't know, 5-6 minutes with my son, and I could see, she said, you know, are you here alone or whatever? And he said, no, my dad's over there. And I'm kind of standing in the background. And
Yeah.
she looked at me. She was like, "What the fuck are you doing all the way over there?" and I'm like, it's his moment.
Right.
And she's like, "Yeah, but you're all the way the fuck across the state line. You can come a closer." You know, that's the kind of person she was. You know,
Right.
And she talked to my son about school and, you know, what sports he likes and all kind. Just very interactive. So my son was very happy with his experience.
Yeah.
And anyway, last for me was I met Brett Wang. God, I can never say his last name. Wagner.
Wagner.
Wagne, or Brett Wagner. Now, for those of you who don't know that name, this guy was actually cast originally to play Leatherface in the 2003 remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And something happened to where he had to leave the set or leave the production, and that's when Andrew Bernarski came in and finished the rest of the film. But he did manage to film a few of the early Leatherface scenes in the film, and I thought that was cool. And since I didn't have hardly any chainsaw people except for Gunnar Hansen, the original, I was like, you know what? I'm going to add some. I got a few Nightmare, got a lot of Halloween, got a lot of Friday. I got to get some Leatherface shit built up. So I got him. He was only $40. He was super cool. Big fucking dude too, man. Seems like everybody that, you know, plays these roles are pretty fucking huge.
Right.
Like, you just don't know until you see him in person. But he was cool as hell. And he actually had some really good 8x10s. I mean, for only having a few scenes in the film, he had some damn good ones. I ultimately just chose what would go on to be the cover of, like, you would call it back in the day the VHS box, but it's the cover of the DVD, just kind of like that gritty, greeny, dirty Leatherface cover of the remake, and got him to sign it and everything. He was really cool. And tell him about the last person you met.
Last but not least, let me not hit puberty on you people. Was somebody I've been waiting to meet a while, because I think the last time we had a chance to even meet him was 5 years ago.
Yeah, it was the first Day of the Dead Charlotte, which no longer comes to Charlotte.
Yeah.
And he was there, but I don't think we ever saw him. I think that he was like a last-minute add-on. And
We walked by him. He was at his table. I
Yeah.
remember him being there.
Well,
But we had so many other people we had to meet at that con
yeah.
that our funds got stretched a wee bit thin. Because that's where Sid Haig and Bill Moseley and everybody and their fucking mother was at. Lead singer of Twisted Sister was there.
Dee Snider.
Dee Snider.
Yeah.
All the Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors cast was pretty much there except for Robert. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, but that's the last time. So Derek Mears, who played Jason in Friday the 13th, 2009 remake with, what's his name? I can't ever remember his name from Supernatural. His real name. Jarrett. Was the main guy. And anyway.
No, Gerard. Is it Jared or Gerard?
Whatever. Anyway.
The one with the longer hair.
Yeah.
Missing his sister.
Anyway, yeah. Well, it's there. So anyway, we're getting off subject here. Anyway, I've been needed some Jasons to add to my collection because I have none at all, unfortunately. And he was the first one, and he's honestly my favorite Jason. Him and Kane are like tied neck and neck. Because of how brutal he was in the remake. I really love the remake. So we go up to him. He's got a lot of like great 8x10s from Friday the 13th, Predators, Swamp Thing, a couple other movies he's been in. And tell him how much of a fan I am. He extends his hand. He asks me my name. Just the sweetest, nicest guy I've ever met in my fucking life. Show him my tattoo because you people can't see it, but I have a Friday the 13th tattoo on my horror movie sleeve, and it's of the 2009 Jason because I think that it's one of the best looking Jasons. Anyway, and he's like, oh my God, that is commitment. That's awesome. He was like, I can tell you're a fan. You got to be a fan if you're willing to get the ink. And then me and him were talking about the movie and everything, and like how fun it was. And my girlfriend was beside me, and he was like, "Hey, are you with him?" And she's like, "Yes." And he's like, "Come on, come over here, come talk." He was like, "Y'all look like y'all go together." He was like, "Y'all look like a great couple." And his wife was there. And she was just as sweet as he was. She was like, "Oh, you look like you got some Stevie Nicks vibes going on." And she was like, "Yes, thank you, ha ha ha." And then we started talking about how we saw Stevie Nicks, and he wanted to know how the concert was. And then I told him about the concert, and then how we went to the UFC fights the next night. Come to find out, I'll be damned, he's a UFC fan just like me, and just like both of us, we've trained mixed martial arts and stuff like that, and we're sitting there talking about mixed martial arts and like how he trained with Randy Couture and got a chance to, I forgot whose gym he said he went to, but it was he got to train with him before the Tim Sylvia fight. Yeah, I know, right? And he said that fucking Randy dumped him on his fucking head, and he was like, oh, you're a legend. He was like, man, you're good. And
yeah.
Okay, I'm 6'2", people, and Derek Mears is a good fucking foot taller than me, easily. So it just goes to show you how, I don't know how many mixed martial arts heads we got out there, but if Brandon, you're listening, you might like this. How awesome Randy is, because he dumped him on his head and then rocked him once he got back up, and he was like,
yeah, I guess, he was Randy's training partner, and
yeah.
They needed somebody to duplicate or mimic fucking Tim Sylvia, who was legitimately like 6'8", 6'9". So
yeah, and
Derek Mears is every bit of 6'9".
Yeah, and I asked him about, working with Jared, Supernatural on Friday the 13th. He was like, he's the sweetest, down-to-earth guy. He talked about just how great of a guy he was because they were on like season 3 or 4 of Supernatural when they were filming the Friday the 13th remake.
Yeah.
And,
what's interesting about that whole thing is that the two guys that went on to star in Supernatural, they were both making horror remakes that year.
Yeah.
Because he went on to do Friday the 13th remake, and the other guy went on to do My Bloody Valentine remake.
Well, funny enough, he was talking about they were coming up on renewing the season, and he was just talking about like how good of a judge of a character, or just how good his character was. It was like he was torn to continue the series because he really kind of wasn't into it, but he didn't want to stop it because of all the people that would lose their jobs.
Yeah,
and that's why he kept going because of
I think
other people, and I think that's just awesome.
Well, eventually, you do something for long enough. Eventually, you do it for as long as the Supernatural, had been on. Then you form a love for it. You don't just do damn 12, 13, 14, how many seasons they did.
Right.
And if you don't really want to do it. So.
Well, I'm glad he kept going because, of his heart wanting to keep people employed, which is amazing because him being a good person led to 15 seasons of awesome television.
Yeah, and speaking of Supernatural. We got to sit in one of the car, I guess,
from Supernatural.
Supernatural,
the baby.
What kind of car is it? I don't know.
It's I can't think of the make and model of the car. I'm not a car head.
I'm not a car head. Car. It's the black car where they open up and they got all the weapons in the trunk and everything.
Yeah, it's an identical one-for-one replica of the car from the show. They even went as far as replicating the weapons and stuff like that. They let you get in the car, take pictures with the car, put stuff on like people would wear in the show.
Yeah, and you got to sit in the car, take pictures, do it, all for like $25, and it was like 4 of us, so. We all went in halves and, got to mark out to the Supernatural car.
Yeah, I was Sam. She was Dean. Zach was Castiel, and you were. Oh my God, is his name slipping me right now?
I don't know.
Satan.
Yeah, I guess. I watch Supernatural. I don't watch it like you and my son do, to where I know Dean and what's the other dude's name? Sam. I know Dean and Sam. I know the other characters. I'm seeing
Crowley.
I'm seeing
you dressed up as Crowley. God, it got me.
Yeah, I see the characters in my head. I don't watch it enough to. I watch it enough to be entertained, but I haven't watched it enough to, you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say.
I get it. I'm a fan of the show. You're kind of a casual watcher.
Yeah, I'm just a casual watcher. I'm sure if I devoted more time to watching it, then
you get sucked in.
Honestly, I remember watching a few episodes, but the one episode that really got my son into it was the crossover Scooby-Doo episode, where it was, I think it's the only episode in Supernatural history where it's animated.
It is.
And they kind of they kind of go into the Scooby-Doo world to solve a case, which is very unique. And I heard about it, and my son wanted to see the episode, so